Well, hello. I'm going to be going over how you work with this wire for the wire drawing 3D project that we're doing in 3D design class. And the kind of wire that works best for this is this very inexpensive baling wire, which is also called rebar wire. It's steel wire and it has a black coating on it, so it shows up nicely because of that. And the first thing that you want to do to get started with the project is to make these geometric forms like this cube that I'm working on here. And I'd like you to make a cube, a sphere, and a pyramid. It should not take too long to do those, just to try it out. And then you're going to make a drawing based on these three elements in your sketchbook. So I'm going to add that last piece on here and just try to give you some pointers on how it might work a little better for you. When I put this together, I started out with a pretty long piece of wire, and then if you can bend it around to go in the different directions, that can be easier. I just have one piece left to put in now, so I'm gonna take the needle nose pliers that have a cutter on there and just cut a short piece to finish that last line on the cube here. So one thing that you want to make sure you do when you start to wind a wire around like I'm doing here around one that you already have, you want to pull it as tightly as you can so that you get some strength. So I'm holding it with one hand and then pulling it with the other hand like that and wrapping around a couple of times now so that it gets some strength on there. Looks like I don't have it quite as tight as I'd want, so I'm going to wrap it around more times, and that seems a little bit better now. And then I'm going to try to straighten it out here and then move over to this other corner. I'm going to try to do the same thing there by just wrapping it around as tightly as I can and going around a couple of times until it's going to stay in place and not going to move. And I've reached that now. So the geometric shapes are they're going to look like drawings. They're not going to look, all that geometric, and that's okay too. I mean, we do want these to look like drawings, but I think by starting out with something that is simple and plainer and geometric like this, it will give you some practice before you go on to the second part of the project, which is to do an object, a realistic object, not, sort of a conceptual idea of a cube or a pyramid. And still not got quite enough strength on this one. I'm gonna take the pliers and pull that around like that. And once you get it wrapped around, if you take the pliers and you pull it around like this, it'll get stronger. So now gotten it strong enough so it's staying in place. And then I'm just going to go around and try to straighten the cube out as much as I can. And I really sort of like the, semi-distorted look of this. We don't really expect these to look super geometric, but, the geometry is what we're going for. And I do like the way that you get this feeling of the volume through that. So you want to, as I said, do your practice by putting together a cube like this, and then a sphere and a pyramid. And this is a pretty good size, I think. You don't make them too small. And the same thing with the actual project. So again, once you've made this, you want to do sketches of it with just a graphite pencil in your sketchbook, following the line like you would in a contour drawing. And then when you've completed that, then what you want to do is pick a subject for your main part of the project, like a realistic subject. The examples that I have in the project, there's a camera, there's some luggage, and there's a cat. Any of those things will be good. The same sort of things that are good for modified contour drawing and direct contour drawing. So, you know, like a plant, like a house plant would be good too. And when you do that, you're going to go kind of the opposite direction as this one. You're going to start with the drawing. So you pick your subject, then you make a contour drawing in your sketchbook with graphite pencil, and then you should use a combination of the drawing and the actual object. Have the actual object there as well as you put this together. But it's important that in the first part of the project with the geometric shapes that you're going from starting making a sculptural object out of the wire, and then you're going to drawing. In the second part, it's the opposite. You're starting with a drawing, and then you're using the drawing as sort of a plan and a guide to work with the wire and try to bend the wire into the shapes that you can see in the drawing, while having the actual object there, because you need the actual object because it's three-dimensional. So as you start to like move the object around in different positions, and it's going to look different in different positions, then you'll refer to the actual object to get that. So that's pretty much it. You know, it helps if you have a needle nose plier, so you can really pull the wire and get it really taut. And then, of course, you have to have something to cut it with too. But really try to think of this as a form of drawing in space. I think that's really what it is. And using line in a sculptural way is sort of what we're trying to get at here.